Okay, so we left off by having our base head with a morpher on it, and it's got 4 morph targets loaded into it. There's the 4 morph targets: open, closed, wide, and narrow. And we've got the master designated as the Y position of this circle, and the X position is sideways. For the narrow and wide, this one's for the open and closed. And we've selected that and made some states. Now these states, it's really three values in here, maybe 2 values. We've got the movement, which is the top one here for the state. That's the movement of the circle. So our up and down movement in this case is 0. That means the value for this object is going to be the percent for the morph. Okay, so that's a little bit confusing because this value can be different things. It does say 0.000, but it's not just percentage, and it's not just a positional value. It really could be almost anything in here. So in this case, this one happens to be a position. This one happens to be a percentage of a morph. So at neutral, I don't want anything to happen, so I'm going to leave it at 0 and 0 and 0. At open, I know open I want to move upwards of 2.5 because if you recall, the distance from this point to this point is 5 units. That means from neutral to open is 2.5. Neutral to closed is negative 2.5. And we're working in Y on local. So open 2.5. Okay? If I'm going open 2.5, I need to use the open morph target. Now that is 100. Okay, remember that's the morph target percentage on the morpher. So if I select that, I can look at morpher, right? So these go from 0 to 100. So that means I've got 100 that's going to be happening in here. Okay, so let me get back to this. Excuse me. With closed, I know closed is going to be going downwards, and that it goes negative 2.5. And if I'm using the closed, if I'm doing the closed on the controller, I need to use closed on the morpher. So I'm going to put that to 100%. If I try this now, I'll see open and I'll see closed. Not too bad. Okay, let's do the other side. I'm already getting excited here. This is cool. I like this stuff. So I need to create some states. I'll leave the top one. This one I'm going to call it 2.5. I know that's up, or sorry, I know that's right because I'm using X now. I know this is going to be left. So whichever one I want to go and use when I move right, I need to figure that out. So let's say I'm going to use a wide. I'll go 100%. And narrow for the other one. Oops, not 0.1. I need 100%. So if I move up and down, great. If I move to the side, I get wide and narrow. And now I can do some pretty cool movements here. Wow, wow, wow. Ooh. Yeah, it's cool. Ooh, 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 ooh. Nice. And that works pretty good. It looks nice and smooth. You can get a lot of movement out of this. Okay, so let's put that back. I can close this for now. I want to add another one in here. I'll move these up, get them out of the way. And I'm going to copy this one. And then just delete the turbo smooth and the morpher on it. And I'll make another copy. I'll just color them so they've got some designation here as something else. So what these are going to be are the corners moving up and the corners moving down. So you could call them happy, sad, but I hesitate to bring an emotion into it because it's not always used for different emotions. We are just moving corners of the mouth. So we're going to move the corners up and the corners down. So I'm going to call this up. I'll call this down. Okay, these are pretty easy to make. The up one here, depending on how you want to do it, I'll use soft selection. Hold on, let me grab both of these, grow this out, and drop my soft selection down a little bit and move upwards. I don't want to do that. That sucks. Let me grab some verts. There we go. I'll grab these verts and I'll do it that way. And increase my fall off a little bit. Move that upwards. There we go. So I don't want to move the middle. So the middle is still kind of staying where it is. And I also don't want when I say the middle, I mean these ones. These ones I think are moving a little bit too much. So I'm going to bring that up a little bit. And then I can turn my soft selection off and then just kind of continue on the way. So I still want to get more of a rounded looking arc here. So I think that works pretty well. Looks like I'm missing the ones in the back, so make sure to grab these ones and just lift those up. Oops. There we go. Now, just because those are lifted up, I still need to lift these secondary ones around it. These will definitely be moving up because they're being pushed on now. Okay, so move those up a little bit. Move these ones up even more. These ones will, and actually these ones might even push out a little bit because we're pushing the skin. These ones we can move up also a little bit. And these ones a little bit less. We can move the bottom ones up. These ones up a little bit less. Okay. You could throw on NURMs to see how that's going to look. That looks okay. We'll know better when we actually have it tied in. But I'll leave that for now. I'll go on to the next one here. And I'm going to move downwards this time. Let's use soft selection. Right about there. Okay, so something like that. I can turn soft selection off and then grab the rest of the way. Move it down a bit more into an arc. Grab these and move them around. Okay, so it's always important you're looking at the verts around the ones that are actually moving. They have to move a little bit too. And it looks like I forgot these ones again. Just move those down with it. Okay, probably good enough. I might want to just move these ones a little bit to give that kind of pillowing effect at the bottom. Just kind of pushing them out maybe slightly. Alright, probably good enough. Doesn't matter if NURMS is turned on or not on these, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll go over to the base head, Morpher, right click, pick from scene, and I can pick it this way as well. So right click, pick from scene, and pick it. So there we go. I can double check to see if they're going to work, and I think that's going to be fine. And downwards, I think it's going to be fine too. I could probably push this a little bit farther, to be honest. I'll do that in a second. I'll show you how we can do that after they're put on. So I need another controller. I'll just grab this one, hold down Shift, and make a new one. It's not tied to anything because this has a different name than the last one. It's added a couple zeros and a 1 at the end of this. So, I mean, if you want to, you can rename this. Just for now, I'm going to just kind of rip through this. I'm not worried about it. I will call this, we can call this corners. These names mean nothing as long as you know what they're for. That's the most important part. I'll go back to Reaction Manager. Okay, and I need to take the Y position. And that's really it. Okay, so the Y position, I'm going to show selected here. There it is. So the Y position, I need to take the slave, modified morpher, and it's going to be up and down. I'll clear out these states just to make it a bit nicer to work with. I'll leave the top one as it is, as a neutral. This one I'll go 2.5. And because I'm going up, I know I'm going up with the morpher. I'll take this one, and I'll make it go down, which is negative 2.5. And that means I'm going down with that morpher. So pretty easy to set that stuff up. And then if I do this up and down, I get an up and down. Okay. Now here's the really cool part. We can blend these morphs together. So if I close my mouth, I can make a smile, or I can make a sad face. So that works really well. I can open my mouth with the happy, or let's say with the up movement. So now it looks like I can be talking as if I'm happy when I'm talking, or I can move this down, and I can be kind of sad when I'm talking. Okay, so you can do a lot just with these two things. Okay. If you go ahead and do more morph targets, that's great. There's a lot more that you could add to this. In some cases, characters can have hundreds, if not even thousands, of morphs to the most intricate little detail that 99% of us would never even see. For this, we're not too bad. We could keep going and actually, make something out of this. Maybe have another 10 controllers. That would be pretty versatile. But as this is still not too bad as a first go. If you want to do some lip sync with this, it's not very hard to do. Lip sync is kind of tricky to do, but it's not very hard to get going with this. You can still do it. Okay. Farther than this, where we can go, we can maybe put some eyeballs on this guy. I think I'll do that in the next video. But for now, we can at least see that we can get some decent movement on this mouth, and we can get some decent movement this way. Sometimes it's fun to actually move these at the same time, see what's happening. Okay, so I'll leave you with that, and I'll be back with the next video. See ya.